Okay, thank
Gary,
you.
please call the roll.
Yes, roll call. Commissioner Savas. Here. Commissioner Schrader.
Here.
Commissioner Shull.
Here.
Chair Smith.
Here. And Commissioner Fisher has been excused
He's
for a
absent
prior
tonight, yes.
engagement.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag Well, good evening, everyone. We are holding this meeting in person and virtually. If you've joined us on the Zoom for this meeting and you are interested in providing public comment, we will prompt you regarding how to do that when the time is right. Today we have 2 public hearings, and we will take input for the public comment on those particular hearings at that time. Most of you in the building, in the room, will not be commenting on those hearings, just to give you a heads up. As always, the public is welcome to sign up to testify. Registration for public comment will close at 5 minutes past 6. We welcome your opinions and look forward to your polite participation. As you can see, there are quite a few people here today, and I have 49 blue cards of people who have signed up. That's a lot to testify in person. And there are a number of folks registered online as well. Given this level of interest to testify before us today, I will need to limit the time of testimony to 1 minute. And there's a clock up there because I want as many of you to testify as possible. If you have brought written testimony, 1 minute is about 3 sentences. So think in your mind of the most important thing that you want this commission to hear within about 3 to 3.5 minutes or 3.5 seconds. With that in mind, I'm going to finish this hearing tonight at 9 p.m., even with the 60-second time limit. People in person will go first. We will take a short break around 7:30. If you are unable to be present today, I encourage you to submit your testimony at our email address at bcc@clackamas.us, and it will be included in the public record. I would like to remind all participants, please turn off your devices. Everybody's reaching in their pants. Thank you very much. I would like to remind all participants, including staff, all elected officials, and members of the public, that Robert's Rules of Order will be enforced during this meeting. Before we start, I have a statement that I would like to read, and it's a personal statement from me. This week, Governor Brown issued a mask mandate to all indoor buildings, yet said local authorities would not be charged with enforcement. My question to her is this: if it's not enforced, how can it be a mandate? That's okay. Also, our sheriff is not going to enforce a public health declared emergency. That is not their jobs. We're going to be here all night. You guys don't have to clap. Okay. We, as a governing body, have performed well, better than many counties, in providing education, PPE, vaccinations, incentives, transportation, clinics, and much more to ensure that the public has access to vaccination and any other health opportunities that are available. We will continue in those efforts as the current vaccination rate in Clackamas County is running about 3,000 per week. We will continue to encourage these efforts. It is the role of government to help and support the citizens it represents, not to control or force policies on them. Let me be clear, mandates are not acceptable. All medical treatments are to be voluntary and not coerced. Mandates encourage resistance rather than achieving the desired goal, which is good health. Local control and decision-making by people living in the trenches of life, like us, leads to better results and a peaceful society. Vaccine and mask mandates are wrong and fail to improve public health. Never seen before have our civil liberties, freedom, and choice been so violated. Government officials are as only good as their word. Governor Brown lied to county officials when she returned the health authority to us on June 30. She wants mask mandates and has started down the road of vaccine passports in her own executive branch of government. She has panicked, realizing that her management of this situation has failed. Oregon has received hundreds of millions of dollars for the management of COVID. She cries about hospital capacity. So increase the hospital capacity with the money given to our state by the federal government. Offer incentives to doctors and nurses to enter the health profession and stay in it. Don't quit. We have endured lockdowns, mandates, and failed promises for 18 months. Our citizens have the right to make their own choices regarding their own health. Let me repeat. Our civil liberties and freedoms are at stake. They are calling it a mandate. But in the end, if we have to show our papers to hold a job or go to the grocery store, it's a passport. We need to be united, thoughtful, and courteous to one another. After all, united we stand, divided we fall. Okay, now. Gary, I think it's time for our first business item.
Yes, Chair Smith, your first public hearing is approval of a board order accepting a request to transfer jurisdiction from Clackamas County to the city of Canby for a portion of North Locust Streets, North Maple Street, and South Redwood Street. Mike Bays from Transportation and Development will present.
Good evening,
Yes.
Chair Smith and Commissioners. My name is Michael Bays. I represent the county's Department of Transportation and Development. Tonight we have before you a request to approve a board order for the transfer of jurisdiction of portions of North Locust Street, North Maple Street, and South Redwood Street from Clackamas County to the city of Canby. This request has been discussed by the staff of both jurisdictions, and both jurisdictions have approved an intergovernmental agreement pertaining to this transfer. Clackamas County and the city of Canby have agreed to this transfer of portions of North Locust Street, North Maple Street, and South Redwood Street to the city with the intent of streamlining roadway improvements, eliminating confusion to the public, and to improve the efficiencies of maintenance and public service. The portions of North Locust Street, North Maple Street, and South Redwood Street to be transferred are located entirely within the city of Canby limits. Clackamas County has agreed to provide the city of Canby funds in the amount of $348,532, which represents the cost of a 2-inch asphalt overlay and ADA ramp improvements over the portions of the roads being transferred. The portions of North Locust Street to be transferred is approximately 1,820 feet long. It contains approximately 85,600 square feet of right-of-way. The portion of North Maple Street to be transferred is approximately 1,130 feet long. It contains approximately 53,000 square feet of right-of-way. The portion of South Redwood Street to be transferred is approximately 1,350 feet long. It contains approximately 88,000 square feet of right-of-way. A notice for today's action was published for 4 consecutive weeks in the Canby Herald. This request is consistent with the county's practice and policy of partnering with local jurisdictions to provide the necessary government services at the least cost to our citizens. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to respond.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing on this matter and ask anyone who has any testimony on this particular item to come forward. I do not have a blue card for that. Shannon, do we have anybody online for that?
We do not.
I will now close the public hearing on this, and I will accept the motion.
I move we approve the board order accepting a request to transfer jurisdiction from Clackamas County to the city of Canby for a portion of North Locust Street, North Maple Street, and South Redwood Street.
Second.
Do I hear any further discussion on this matter? Seeing none, Shannon, please call the poll.
Commissioner Savas? Aye. Commissioner Schrader?
Aye.
Commissioner Scholl?
Aye.
Chair Smith?
Aye, motion passes 4-0. Gary, what's up next?
Thank you, Chair. The second public hearing tonight is second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 8.03 of the Clackamas County Code, secondhand dealers. Scott Seco from County Counsel's Office will give a quick update.
All right, good evening, Chair Smith, Commissioners. We are here for what is now the fourth public hearing on the proposed amendments to Chapter 803 that governs secondhand dealers. Sergeant Jed Wilson from the Sheriff's Office is actually present, although I believe he was waiting in the hallway just due to capacity issues in the room. I'm sure if you have questions, he could step in and answer those. However, this issue has been discussed before the board repeatedly, so hopefully the board is prepared to move forward. Asking you today to approve the ordinance after reading by title only. 4 changes in the ordinance, as you are aware. We will no longer be regulating guns that are bought and sold at secondhand dealers. That is in order to comply with state law. We will no longer be regulating things like DVDs, video games, Blu-rays, and other items that are frankly just outdated and are not being traded or bought and sold at these dealers. We will use collections to collect amounts that are owed to the county by secondhand dealers. And the final change is that secondhand dealers will be now required to take photographs of jewelry, watches, precious metals, items such as that that don't otherwise have serial numbers or are otherwise more difficult to recognize. And the purpose for that requirement is simply to assist the Sheriff's Office in monitoring stolen property and to help reunite stolen property with their rightful owners when those items are transacted through secondhand dealers. So again, with that, this issue has been discussed at several policy sessions as well as public hearings, and the request is that you approve the proposed amendments.
Thank you, Scott. I will now open a public hearing on the second-hand dealers amendment. Do I see anybody in the room? Well, as a matter of fact, I do. Steve Souza, would you please come up? State your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes on this particular item.
Thank you. Steve Souza, 17431 Holcomb Road. We are currently regulated heavily already by the state of Oregon. This is one more thing that Clackamas County wants me to follow the regulations. It will be an undue burden with the cameras and the software, and the end result is not going to increase. Also, it is not a level playing field. Another shop that is 2 miles down the road will not have to participate because they are not in unincorporated Clackamas County. I thereby feel that this is not a level playing field for people in the Clackamas County or any businesses.
Thank you very much, Steve. Shannon, is there anybody on the Zoom call? You will not applaud during a public hearing testimony, or I'll clear the room. Just know it. Shannon, do we have anybody on the Zoom?
Thank you, Chair. I have no one registered for this hearing.
Okay, thank you. I will now close the public hearing, and I will accept the motion. Please turn off your devices.
I move that the clerk read the ordinance by title only.
The motion has been made by Commissioner Savas and approved by Commissioner Scholl. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, Shannon, please call the poll.
Commissioner Schrader?
Aye to read by title only.
Yes. Commissioner Savas? Aye. Commissioner Scholl?
Aye.
Chair Smith?
Aye, motion passes 3-1. Thank you very much. Gary, what's next?
Point of order.
Point of order, Chair. Go ahead, Shannon.
Point of order, Chair. You'll need to actually vote on accepting the ordinance at this time.
Okay, let's vote. May I entertain a motion on the second motion, please, on the second ordinance?
I'm so sorry, Chair. I have to read the title first. My bad.
Please read, please, that's okay. You know what? It's a little busy in here, and we may be a little distracted, so it's no
you.
big deal. So why don't you go ahead and read the ordinance by title only?
This is ordinance number 042021, an ordinance amending Clackamas County Code, Chapter 808.03, secondhand dealers.
Thank you very much. I will now entertain a motion.
I move we approve the ordinance as read by the clerk.
Second. Mark, please second the motion.
Seconded.
The motion has been made by Commissioner Savas and seconded by Commissioner Scholl. Any further discussion on this?
Yes, Chair.
Commissioner Schrader.
I'm going to abstain from this. I actually agree with the individual that came up here in that I actually think this should be something that's taken up at the I think that this is something that would be better.
Okay, please, just a moment, please, people. Now, please, we're doing the best we can under trying circumstances. We will speak as loud as we can. We have heard you, okay? Now it's time for you to hear us. Got it?
Thank you.
All right. And I mean it. Commissioner Schrader, you're up.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to abstain from this vote because I believe this is better taken up at the state level, so it is consistent across the state with all of the folks that have pawn shops. I do think this is singling folks in the unincorporated areas out, and for that reason, I'm going to abstain, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other further discussion on this?
Yes, Chair.
Yes?
So, Chair, I understand Mr. Souza's argument, but I would, if I was trying to go to a store. Nobody can hear you.
Paul, they want you to talk into that.
If I was to go to a store such as, and Mike's off.
Okay.
So,
Maybe, just a point of order, please. Maybe the reason you can't be heard because there's too many people in here and you've already exceeded the fire marshal's capacity? I think so. So please be quiet. We are going to listen to as many of you as possible. In the meantime, we are conducting important county business as prescribed by our own ordinances and Oregon Revised Statute. So please be calm until we finish the business part of our meeting, and then those of you who have registered can come up and testify. Thank you very much. Commissioner Savas, please continue.
yeah, so I'm not sure how a legitimate person walking into a pawn shop wishing to get a loan or sell their items or whatever it may be would choose a different store at all. I could see that perhaps if the person was trying to sell something that might be illegal, then they might want to go to a place that maybe doesn't take pictures. But I think for the legitimate business owners, I think this might be actually an incentive. But I can't see how anyone walking into a store would know the difference between whether someone's taking one more picture of an item. I just don't understand that argument. So in the interest of folks that have had their property stolen, personal jewelry, irreplaceable things from their family, handed down jewelry from their ancestors. It's just, you know, it's a once in a lifetime irreplaceable items. I think that's worthy of taking a photograph for tracking. And I don't see the harm or any kind of posting that would discourage any patron from walking into those stores. So for that reason, I'm supporting it on behalf of the people that have had stolen property from their property. I've been robbed. I've had items stolen, and I never recovered anything. So I think that's, I'm not the only one in the room here that's probably have their house broken into or anything else. So for that reason, I'm supporting this.
Thank you, Commissioner Savas. I, too, have had property stolen, and it's very difficult if you have been burglarized to recover stolen property. And this, you know, we believe this board, the reason why we have heard this, we've had 4 public hearings and a lot of testimony, is that it's not that difficult for these dealers to be in compliance. It's just one more button they need to push. And a lot of the laws, we're just upholding many of the laws that are already on the books. Any further comment on this? Seeing none. Shannon, could you please take the poll?
Commissioner Savas?
Aye.
Commissioner Scholl?
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader?
I'm actually going to vote no, if that's okay.
That's
Yep,
okay.
I'm going to vote no.
Okay.
Chair Smith?
Aye, motion passes 3-1. Gary, what's up next?
Next, Chair, is the consent agenda. Shannon, will you please read the consent agenda by title only?
So sorry.
doing great. You're doing great.
All right. Sorry, Chair, this is a lot of people to read in front of. Oh,
Would
Health,
we like-
Housing, and Human Services, approval of Amendment 01 to a subrecipient agreement with Columbia Care Services, Inc. for residential treatment services. Maximum value of $1,508,000 through the State of Oregon Community Mental Health Program. No county general funds are involved. Approval of Amendment Number 21 to the intergovernmental agreement with the State of Oregon, acting by and through its Oregon Health Authority for operation as the local public health authority for Clackamas County. Amendment increases amount by $169,959 through the State of Oregon. No county general funds are involved. Approval of the intergovernmental agreement with the State of Oregon, acting by and through its Oregon Health Authority for public health Medicaid administrative claiming. Maximum contract is $1,900,000 and is a reimbursement mechanism through the state to cover time spent by public health staff on administrative activities not otherwise covered by Medicaid. No general funds are involved. Approval of Amendment Number 1 to an intergovernmental agreement with the State of Oregon Housing and Community Services Department to change wording regarding the disclaimer of warranties with no other changes to the agreement dates or dollars allocated to the Oregon Emergency Rental Assistance Program, not to exceed amount of $10,192,438 through the U.S. Treasury Consolidated Appropriations Act Federal Rental Assistance Pass-Through Funding from the State of Oregon. No county general funds are involved. Approval of an intergovernmental agreement with Tri-County Metropolitan District of Oregon for special transportation formula funds for Mount Hood Express bus service, dedicated dialysis rides program, and match funding for Title 19 Medicaid non-medical waivered transportation. Maximum agreement is $89,558. There is not financial impact to the county. Approval to renew an intergovernmental agreement with City of Sandy, Oregon for support for the Mount Hood Express bus service. Total agreement value is $81,450 through statewide transportation funds. No county general funds are involved. Approval to apply to funding opportunity HRSA-21-114 with Health Resources and Services Administration for American Rescue Plan Health Center Construction and Capital Investment. Maximum agreement value is $700,134 through Health Resources and Services Administration. No county general funds are involved. Approval to apply to the 2021-2023 OSBHA Action Grant with Oregon School-Based Health Alliance for School-Based Health Center Programs. Maximum agreement value is $22,000 through Oregon School-Based Health Alliance. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a local subrecipient grant amendment number 4 with Northwest Family Services for student resource coordination. This amendment adds $60,000 for a revised maximum of $330,950 funded through Clackamas County Behavioral Health and Marijuana Tax Funds. No county general funds are involved. Approval of intergovernmental agreement with Oregon Department of Transportation Rail and Public Transit Division for HB 2017 State Transportation Improvement Fund discretionary program funds for an integrated website for all Clackamas County transit providers. Maximum grant award is $145,000 funded through the Oregon Department of Transportation. No county general funds are involved. For Transportation and Development, approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Molalla to affirm maintenance responsibility of improvements as required by the Oregon Department of Transportation. No fiscal impact. The county is currently obligated to maintain these improvements regardless of the agreement through the road fund. A board order vacating a portion of Dusty Lane Public Road number 5032. There's no fiscal impact. Elected officials, we have the approval of the previous business meeting minutes. And approval of ORMAP, the Oregon Map Intergovernmental Agreement Contract Number DOR 31821 between the Clackamas County Assessor's Office and the Oregon Department of Revenue for the administration of the ad valorem property tax system. The semi-annual contract is valued at $35,000 for this funding period. Assessment and Taxation dedicates an additional $10,000 annually for the conservation of maps funded through the State of Oregon Department of Revenue. No county general funds are involved. Business and Community Services, Approval of modification number 8 to stewardship agreement 13-SA-11060600-013 between Clackamas County and USDA Forest Service Mount Hood National Forest. Total funds are $38,738.08 through USDA Forest Service and Dump Stoppers Program. No county general funds are involved. Disaster management. Approval of amendment number 1 to fiscal year 19 Urban Area Security Initiative grant agreement between the City of Portland and Clackamas County. Total increase of $50,000 for a total of $387,000 funded through the United States Department of Homeland Security. No county general funds are involved. Approval of amendment number 2 to FY19 Urban Area Security Initiative grant agreement between the City of Portland and Clackamas County. There is no financial impact. Approval of fiscal year 20 Urban Security Initiative grant agreement between the City of Portland and Clackamas County. Total grant is $375,833, funded through the United States Department of Homeland Security. No county general funds are involved. Public and Government Affairs, a board order approving the renewal of the cable television franchise agreement for the use of the county's rights-of-way by Comcast of Tualatin Valley, Inc., Comcast of Illinois, Ohio, Oregon, LLC, and Comcast of Oregon, 2, Inc. This agreement will bring 5% in franchise fees to the Public and Government Affairs revenue account. No county general funds are involved. Clackamas Water Environment Services, approval of a purchase and sale agreement between Clackamas Water Environment Services and certain individuals pertaining to the purchase of vacant parcel for Hoodland Sandy Lane Pump Station relocation project. The cost is $95,000 plus a share of closing costs funded through West Wastewater Capital Fund. No county general funds are involved.
Point of order, Chair. I apologize. Our script was incorrect. Water Environment Services, you should have adjourned as the Board of Commissioners. So could we strike that one item, and we'll come back to it, please?
Yeah, I move to strike that one last item. Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
Do we need to take a poll on that, Gary?
No.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to ask for a motion for the approval of the consent agenda, but does any commissioner wish to pull any item? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Seconded.
Commissioner Schrader has moved for approval of the consent agenda, and Commissioner Schull has seconded that. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, Shannon, please call the poll.
Commissioner Schull?
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader?
Aye.
Commissioner Savas?
Aye.
Chair Smith?
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Gary, I will now recess as the Board of County Commissioners, and this board will convene as the Water Environment Service Board for the next item.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So next is the Water Environment Services consent agenda. Shannon, would you please read the consent agenda by title only?
Approval of a purchase and sale agreement between Clackamas Water Environment Services and certain individuals pertaining to the purchase of vacant parcel for Hoodland Sandy Lane Pump Station relocation project. The cost is $95,000 plus a share of closing costs funded through West Wastewater Capital Fund. No county general funds are involved.
Thank you, Shannon. Does any commissioner wish to push any item, pull any item off that motion? Accept the motion at this time.
I move for approval of the Water Environment Services consent agenda.
Second.
Commissioner Schull has moved for approval. Commissioner Schrader has seconded the motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Shannon, please call the poll.
Commissioner Savas?
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader?
Aye.
Commissioner Schull?
Aye.
Chair Smith?
Aye, motion passes. We will now recess as the Water Environment Services, and we will reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners for the remainder of the meeting. Gary, what's up next?
Thank you, Chair. With your prior permission, Chair, I'm moving County Administrator update before public communication because I just have one item that needs your ratification tonight, and that is an agreement on behalf of the Department of Transportation and Development, the Fourth Amendment to the Disposition Agreement between Clackamas County and Beaver Creek Structures for the land and delivery of a turnkey facility to house Clackamas County's Transportation Maintenance Facility. Commissioners, you discussed this on Tuesday, August 10th. You approved this contract. Chair Smith has already signed. However, it needs to be ratified at this business meeting for the record. So I'm seeking your ratification of the action you took on August 10th.
I'll entertain a motion to ratify this item, please.
I move to ratify the item as presented by the county administrator.
Second.
Commissioner Shull has moved the motion. Commissioner Schrader has seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Shannon, please call the poll.
Commissioner Schrader?
Aye.
Commissioner Savas?
Aye.
Commissioner Shull?
Aye.
Chair Smith?
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Shannon. Gary, anything else before we move on?
That is all. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Well, public, you're going to like this now. We move to the public communication portion of this meeting. This portion of the agenda shall be limited to items of county business which are properly the object of board consideration and should be nonpartisan in nature, as this BCC is a nonpartisan governing body under Oregon Revised Statutes and County Code. Like I said before, testimony will be limited to 1 minute. We will have a hard stop at 9 p.m. with a possible break in between. As a reminder, you can email submissions for public communication at bcc@clackamas.us, and these will be accepted as part of the public record. However, we will not be reading them at the business meeting due to time constraints. I will now open the meeting for public testimony, and I have a list of cards here, and I'm going to call them up. First person, and please, if I mispronounce your name, you can correct me when you come up for the record, okay? Dr. Lee Samatowik, please come forward. State your name. I'm going to call people in twos, and you know, the longer that you clap and laugh, it takes more time away from testimony. And you know, I really do appreciate what you're trying to do tonight, but I want to try to get as many people as we can to speak. I'm going to call people up in twos. Second, Lori Toshner, please join her. I will have Dr. Lee go first, and then Lori, you will go next. You have 60 seconds.
My name is Dr. Lee Samatowik. I live at 13305 Carl Road in Hubbard. Referring to the packet of information provided by Lori Tauscher, please look at the second page. It states that masks had higher COVID case rates than states that did not mask. Follow the evidence. Next, a link to the CDC document that shows there is no evidence that masks reduce viral transmission. This is the CDC. Follow the science. The seventh page shows that there is no statistical difference in the total deaths in 2017, 18, 19, and 20. Where are those extra 700,000 deaths due to COVID in 2020?
Thank you very much. Lori Toshner, you're up next.
My name is Laurie Tauscher. My address is 14007 Southeast 119th Drive in Clackamas, Oregon. I'm a graduate of Oregon State University with a degree in mechanical engineering. Referring to that same packet of information that I submitted, I'm regarding mandatory or coerced vaccinations, as in you must be vaccinated to keep your job or participate in society. The fifth document is a quote from CDC Director Rochelle Walensky. Our vaccines cannot prevent transmission. So why would you force people to vaccinate to protect others if vaccinating does not prevent the spread of COVID? The sixth document is quotes by the inventor of the mRNA vaccine, Dr. Robert Malone. I am of the opinion, this is the inventor, I am of the opinion that people have the right to decide whether to accept vaccines or not, especially as these are experimental vaccines. The seventh document, what are the risks of the vaccine? It shows that as July 9th, the total reported deaths due to the COVID vaccination is almost 11,000. When the bird flu vaccine reached 25 deaths in the 1990s, they shut it down. This is unconscionable. In Sweden, there are no mandates or coercion.
Thank you very much, Lori. I appreciate you coming before. Yeah, well, that's okay. Nope, you're not chairing the meeting, sir. I am. We're going to go through as many cards as possible. There's no yielding of time. I noticed that the lights dimmed. It's because somebody accidentally stood up against them, so please be careful. Up next, in twos, Brenda Rubel and Rick Kofel. Please come up. You each have 30 seconds or 60 seconds. Brenda, you're first.
My name is Brenda Rubel, 4840 Dogwood Drive, Lake Oswego. I worked in alternative medicine for 25 years. We are in a fight between good and evil. Revelations 18:23 says, "By your sorcery all nations were deceived." In this instance, the word sorcery in the original Greek text is pharmakia, from which pharmaceutical comes from. So if I take the word pharmaceutical and I put it in place of sorcery, it reads, by your pharmaceutical, all nations were deceived. Folks, you've been deceived. The whole COVID narrative of mask mandates and business lockdowns is a pandemic designed to destroy business and control your lives. It's time to wake up the sleepers and take back our nation. I will not fear the Delta variant when I've got the Alpha and Omega, and I suggest you get it too. We are one nation under God, and it's time we start acting like it.
Rick, you're up next.
Thank you, Chair Smith. I'm Rick Krofel, reside at 15121 South Dales Avenue, Beaver Creek, and I am against the mask mandate and the vaccine mandate. It violates individual rights as well as just not being right and puts neighbor against neighbor, citizen, Clackamas County citizen against citizen. You got a shot, I didn't. Who cares? If everybody who got shots got all their shots plus the booster, they are okay. They should not fear getting being around somebody who may not have gotten their vaccine because their vaccine should protect them. That is what they believe. That is what the government represents. It's an individual option, and it should be retained by the individual's individual choice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Up next, Joe Haverkamp and Carol Sadich. Please come up, state your names. Is Carol in the room? Do I see Carol? I'm going to pass on. Oh, Carol in the pink, come on up. Whoever gets there first can start first. Joe, go ahead.
Hello. Joe Haverkamp from Oregon City. You're doing a great job, Tootie. I'm proud of you. And I have a question that perhaps you have not thought about. There are 1 million people that have come across the border since January. They put them on buses and they send them to all states. My brother-in-law lives on the border, and he said sometimes they have so many that are coming in, they just lead them straight to the buses. Now, do we know if we get some of these buses, and then what we need to do is check when they're coming in to see if we're getting any of these? So I think that would be very good for our community.
Thank you, Joe. Carol, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Carol Sadich. I live at 2470 Michael Drive, Westland, Oregon. I've worked in medicine my whole life, most recently in clinical research with new drug development. Very familiar with the FDA and CDC regulations. The vaccine should never have been approved on an emergency basis because an emergency basis should never be granted if there's an efficacious drug that will cure the illness, which there are, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, and steroids. Also, the masks do not work. The molecular size of the virus is small enough, it goes right through the mask. Your kids wearing masks are like making a little petri dish for all the viruses where they set them down on shelves, desks, in your car, in your purse, and then put them back on without washing them. The doctor who developed the mRNA type of vaccine has come out and said stop the vax because it is causing what they call ADE, antibody.
Thank you very much, Carol. I appreciate it. Up next is Jim Weaver and Lori Kimmel. Please come forward, state your name, and you each have 60 seconds. Lori, you're first. Go ahead.
My name is Lori Kimmel. I live in South Clackamas County. And if Senate Bill 872 would have passed, we wouldn't be having this discussion about vaccine passports. Even the ACLU is against vaccine passports. They say threatening to exacerbate racial disparities and harm civil liberties of all. Vaccine passports are a new type of discrimination.
Thank you. Jim Weaver, please state your name for the record.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Actually, I think you're doing a great job. So, sorry.
We're gonna restart.
Hello.
So people, the microphones are on,
Test,
so you,
test,
just a minute, Jim. The microphones are on, so you don't have to push any buttons, because if you push the buttons, it turns us off, and then we can't hear and you can't be recorded. Okay, Jim, we're going to restart the clock, Shannon, at 60 seconds. There you go.
You're doing a great job. I'm here on a separate topic, not to
That's
do-
fine, we want to hear
Okay,
separate
well,
topics.
I'm just simply here, I've heard the rumors that we're going to have, well, the timer's not running, so if you can hear me, I'll talk loud.
Jim,
Give me more
don't worry about the timer. You just can come here and tell us what you want to tell
All
us,
right,
okay?
I'm here because I hear that the state is trying to, and ODOT is trying to sneak in some tolling on our local roads. I think it's balderdash. I think it's just another gimmick. And if the county needs money to fix roads, ask me for some kind of a fund or whatever. I'll vote for it to pay for it. I think you guys do a good job, but don't get sucked into letting ODOT tell you they're going to toll this section and give you money and help you out, because it's balderdash. They're not going to do that. They're going to do the section, then they're going to do more sections, and they're going to raise it, and you and I are going to have a nightmare coming and going to work. Just to go to Walmart's going to cost me money. That's just not right. I paid for those roads over the last 20-some years of my life. So that's all I'm here for, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Up next is Dana Leschner and Joseph Leschner. Please come forward, state your names, and you each have 60 seconds.
Hello, my name is Dana Leischner, and this is my son Joseph Leischner. We both live at 1341 North Maple Street in Canby. Oregon is a unique place. It has always drawn and nurtured people who are reasonable, resilient, resourceful, smart people who know how to do their empirical research. We've heard them here tonight already. Commissioner Smith, I want to thank you and all the other esteemed commissioners. I concur with your statement that you made earlier. My concern is that among others, many healthcare workers, and now with Governor Brown's statement, executive branch employees of the state of Oregon will be required to be fully vaccinated by October 18th. And I have friends who are in danger of losing their jobs as a result of these mandates. We all know by now that we must respect this virus. As citizens in a free society, it is incumbent upon us to be diligent in this regard, and local communities know best what is going on in their midst.
Yep, thank you very much. Joseph, you're up next. Please state your name and city.
Hello, I'm Joseph Fleischner. I'm from 1341 North Maple Street. This past year, I studied the scientific method, the Declaration of Independence, U.S. Constitution, and U.S. history. This vaccine rollout does not follow any of that. It does not follow the scientific method. There have been no long-term clinical trials, so we simply do not know what this is going to do to people in the future. It has also not been approved by the FDA. This is a reduction of liberty, because requiring people to get vaccinated so they can go to work or school is taking away people's ability to choose. Forced vaccination flies in the face of equality. Many people do not want to get vaccinated. This will create an us versus them situation. History tells us that it does not end well. This will limit the jobs that I will be able to have as I don't want to get vaccinated. Please don't force me to take an untested drug that will impact my future.
Thank you very much. Daniel Boatwright and Eric Garland, please come forward, state your name, and you have 60 seconds. Are you Eric or Daniel?
I'm Eric Garland.
Is
and,
Daniel Boatwright in the room? Okay, we'll come back. Chelsea Wilson, please come up. Go ahead, state your name and address.
Eric Garland, Milwaukee, Oregon. And the last speaker mentioned that it's a vaccine, and it actually isn't even a vaccine. It's a gene modification, and there's no SARS-CoV-2 in any of these shots. So that's interesting on its face, isn't it? So I've got a report here that says face masks in the COVID-19 era, a health hypothesis. And what this is it's published by Stanford University Cardiology Division from Palo Alto, California. It's only 5 pages, but there's 67 sites in here, and it says clearly and plainly that SARS-CoV-2 can easily pass through any face mask. And it also reminds us that the death rate from infections is 0.1%. And there's all sorts of negatives that come with wearing face masks. So it's actually irresponsible to try to force any group of people, employees,
Thank you, Eric. Why
cetera.
don't you leave the paper there when you leave,
I'd
and
like
we'll
it to be
submit it
part
to
of the
the
public record.
Yes, that's what I'm
There's
asking
7
you to do.
copies here.
Yes, we understand that. Thank you. Chelsea, you have 60 seconds.
Thank you. My name is Chelsea Wilson of Malala, Oregon. I have been a State of Oregon employee for 5 years. The past 18 months, I have determined eligibility for SNAP, childcare, TANF cash assistance for many people who have been affected by this pandemic. It is now, as you know, as of Tuesday, mandated that I get a vaccine in order to continue my employment. I'm currently 25 weeks pregnant, and while I don't feel comfortable obtaining a vaccine for myself and my unborn child, it then faces some hard decisions for me to make as far as if I want to continue my employment or find a new job and become one of those Oregonians that have been serving for the last 18 months. I think it should be a choice. The state of Oregon has always been an equality program, and I think it needs to be equitable for us as well.
Thank you very much. Tonya Streifel and Chris Foster, please come forward, state your name and residence, and you each have 60 seconds. You're Tonya?
Yes, I
Is
am.
Chris Foster in the room? I don't see him. Janae Levassiere, please come up. Go ahead, Tonya, you may start.
Thank you, Tootie. I was really motivated by your speech today, so thank you for saying those words, because right now things are changing every day, and we don't know what's coming. So I believe there's no coincidence you were elected and placed with these hard decisions now. We trust you to make the right decision. Very quickly, our freedoms are being stripped away by unproven safety measures by elected officials who take it upon themselves to manage us like irresponsible, ignorant, childlike adults. I do not co-parent with Kate Brown. I ask that we remove all restrictions off of the school districts and give the choice back to parents as it should be. OSHA is not used as a leverage to persuade and manipulate our school districts. Our teachers know what's best for our children, and by no means does Kate Brown know what's best for our kids. We need to stand together because enough is enough. Where do we draw the line? I know there's a line in the sand for me, but Tootie, I need you to speak for us. We need you to push back.
Janae, please state your name and area of residence.
I'm Janae Levasseur in Eagle Creek, Oregon. On the behalf of myself and those of the Oregon's Mom Union, we need your support in pushing back on Governor Brown. As a parent, we have all witnessed masks causing physical adverse effects on our children. We are literally damaging our children physically and mentally with the mask mandate. You bet they're going to be enduring trauma with their experiences over the last 18 months. This is literally child abuse. What I ask is, where is the scientific data? We need to ask Kate Brown why we are mandating masks on ourselves and K through 12 schools. Our summer activities were packed with summer camps, inside school learning with no masks. And in our community, I heard of little or no COVID-19 cases. So why are we now putting masks back on our children in school? My eyes, we are attacking our children. We as parents deserve the right to choose what is best for ourselves and, most importantly, our children.
Thank you very much. Up next is Ashley Cruz and Lisa Pierce. Please come forward, state your name and area of residence, and you have each 60 seconds. Can we please quiet down outside? Holy cow, did you get trapped out there?
Hi, everybody. I'm Ashley Cruz. I typed up a speech, and I was going to read it to everybody, but it's not really my style to read off of a script, so here I am. I oppose all of the mask mandates, the vaccine mandates, and all this other nonsense going on. I don't know about you guys. But my kids are suffering. My kids are suffering. They are forced to be masked. They've been out of school. I have a 7th grader who was an honor roll student every single year. She was a star basketball player. She was active in the community. Now her mental health has declined drastically. She has lost interest in sports, and she's suffering a lot. And this is due to all of the mandates by Kate Brown, and we need to end it. That's right. It's our choice. It's the parents' choice. It's the children's choice, and I'm here to represent the children.
Thank you. Ashley Cruz.
Hi, my name's Lisa Pierce. I'm a resident of Oregon City. Thanks for having me back. I was here 2 weeks ago to talk about freedom. I want to say that the masks and the vaccines are part of the emergency use authorization. So that's part of the whole, they're authorized under that, which is recommended by the CDC, which has financial interests in vaccines, and the FDA, which has been guarding the hen house, its own hen house, since 1994. So it puts us in a really dangerous situation. I'll get that information for you on email. I'm here to say that also these interests are brought to you by the same folks who brought us the opioid crisis and said decades ago that DDT and smoking and other things were perfectly safe. So we need to remember our history here. I'd also like to say that we have a purpose here. Last time I was here, you thought, well, it's not really our deal. You know, someone in Washington, D.C. or Salem can do this. Well, the people in Salem just talk about bills. The people in Washington, D.C. are just overwhelmed with pharma money.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your testimony. Up next is Rachel DeShurla and Connie Iman. Please come forward, state your name and residence, and you each have 60 seconds.
My name is Connie Iman, and my address 18204 South Chalet Drive, Oregon City. I have a 38-year-old autistic son who has a seizure disorder, and when he saw the neurologist said, "Don't ever get him vaccinated." Now, Governor Kate Brown thinks she knows better than the neurologist that treats my son. I'm a tax-paying, voting citizen of the United States, and we want our rights back.
Please state your name and residence.
My name is Rachel, and I'm from Estacada, Oregon. I'm here with Oregon Moms Union to speak on masking our children. I have 3 kids, but when it comes to my youngest, he's in 3rd grade. He suffers from anxiety. To make this quick, when in-school options began for his 2nd grade year, it went well for a week or 2, and then the calls started happening, and I would go pick up a little boy whose light was gone from his eyes as he cried that his mask was full of boogers and tears. I would send 3 freshly washed clean ones, and each day they would all come home discolored from food, sweat, snot, tears, and Lord knows what else. No one will be able to convince me that this is healthy. If that's not bad enough, the conversations we would have were gut-wrenching. He no longer felt a sense of safety. Safety to a young child is seeing the welcoming smile of his teacher and the joy on his friends' faces to see him. Safety is not being reprimanded every few minutes to fix his mask. Safety for a child is not living every school day believing that the air they breathe is fatally toxic or that they can become or cause others to become deathly sick. We know this is not the case.
Thank you very much. Up Up next, Yvonne Lazarus and Cheryl Wenzel. Please come forward, state your name and residence, and you each will have 60 seconds. Yvonne, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Yvonne Lazarus from Milwaukee, Oregon. And I'm here tonight to request that the board, that there is an investigation up here because things aren't right. And I'm asking Clackamas County to pay for this. I will submit something to you because we don't have time here for me to get into stuff. I will submit something to you in writing, but I want that done. There was a coup up here. Mark and Tootie have gone through stuff that it's disgusting. And there's been some board members who I feel have really not represented us well. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Wenzel. I live in Westland, Oregon. I have a couple issues with the mask mandates. The first one is the hypocrisy. Now, you see here the Lollapalooza on the top in July, and then the kids in school with their masks on in August. So that right there is hypocrisy showing what are we really doing? I mean, do we really believe in the masks? I don't think so. And here's one with the CDC posted that this big thing over here is a particle of smoke, which the mask cannot protect you from. And this tiniest little thing over here is the COVID virus, which it can. I mean, that right there should stop everything. So, and then there are studies, even though the mainstream media doesn't report the studies, there are official studies. A new study finds COVID masks harm children's physical and mental health by the Principia Scientific International.
Thank you very much, and you could submit that right over here if you'd like for the record. Up next is Tia Ballard and Troy Lundstrom. Please come forward, state your name, area of residence. You each have 60 seconds. Go ahead, Troy.
Well, it's nice to meet you in person. I've texted you many times on Facebook, but I only got a minute, so let me tell you what I want. I want you guys to support us and help us be free, push back against this governor who thinks that she's I don't know what she thinks she is. I've seen such terrible medicine, I can't believe it. I spent hundreds of hours studying this stuff, listening to doctors all over the world, and none of the things they do make any sense. And I want you to help us be free. I want to be free like that flag promised me I'd be free when I was a little kid. I want my children to be free. Tomorrow my daughter's going to go to work and get fired because she will not let an experimental DNA-altering virus, whatever the heck it is, with protein spike or whatever it is, get injected into her body. So she's going to get fired again. She lost her job last year because she couldn't wear a mask without passing out. We need to be free in this country. If we're not going to be free, what's the point of this? We may as well move to China. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Go ahead, state your name and residence.
I'm so nervous, I can barely
You know
talk.
what? We don't bite, honest.
My name is Tia Ballard. I live in Lake Oswego. I'm here because my son was vaccine damaged at 14 months and stopped talking for 4 years. It took years and years of speech therapy and behavioral therapy and chelation treatments and detoxes to try to get the heavy metals out of his body. He's now talking and doing really well. There's absolutely no mandates or circumstances that I can ever give my family vaccines. And I have spoke to hundreds and thousands of other parents through various social groups that had the same thing happen. To this day, there's not one doctor that will acknowledge that vaccine damage is a real thing. It's not something anybody can be held accountable for. And I won't ever be able to do it under any circumstance. So it's affected my
Thank you.
family.
Sorry. Up next is Jeff Miller and Travis Kruger. Please come forward, state your name and residence, and you have 60 seconds. I see one coming up. Is there the other? Which one are you, sir? Oh, there they are.
I'm Travis.
Travis, go ahead and
Yep.
get started.
Hey, I'm Travis Kruger. I'm from Oregon City and fifth-generation Oregonian. The COVID protocols, let's just step back. Why are we doing this in the first place? 99.97 survival rate. It's a joke. It's not about health. It's about fear. You can't control people if you don't scare them. So we now have unelected officials like Fauci just churning the fear factory. Second wave, third wave, variants, they're all cold and flu is a variant. This is going to go on until we have the Ramalama Ding Dong variant. I mean, come on. So cut out all the good stuff here, but no government bureaucrat is going to tell me what medicine to take. Let's not become Portland. You know, if people want to put diapers on their face, they have the right to do that. You guys, go for it. But I don't want to do it. My kids aren't going to do it. We haven't been doing it. So basically, let's just do this.
Thank you very much, sir. You're up next.
Jeff Miller, 19346 Averill Parkway, Sandy, Oregon. I come to you tonight as a father of 4 children. I ask that you, as our elected officials, stand up for us in the fact that it's our responsibility to take care of our children. It's our responsibility to clothe them, to bathe them, to teach them, to protect them. Nobody should be coming into my house and telling my family what needs to happen. Thank you very much.
Up next, Alan Anderson and Lorley Miller. Please come forward, state your name and residence, and you have 60 seconds. Go ahead, Alan.
Hi, I'm Alan Anderson. I live at 18690 Sandy, Oregon. I'm a 26-and-a-half-year veteran that served that flag, and no Mark has also. And I don't think people understand what you're doing with the mask and these lockdowns to these veterans that already have problems. The suicide rate has gone sky high. And I'm tired of having to attend funerals or do funerals for my brothers. You know, I have put 27,000 miles on my truck this year, driving this state and 14 other states. I don't wear a mask, I shake hands, I hug, and by God, I don't have the virus. And I'm 75 years old and I've got bad lungs because of Agent Orange. And I ain't afraid of this virus, so take the damn fear out of it and get these politicians out of our lives. Love you guys.
Please state your name and area of residence.
My name is Lorley Miller, and I'm from Oregon City. And I'm not here to talk about the mask mandate. I'm here to voice my opposition to the tolls that are being placed here, starting in Oregon City at 213 on I-205, and to ask for your support for a citizen vote. We deserve the right to participate in the decisions that affect our community. And also, I ask that you request that Representatives Peter DeFazio and Kurt Schrader fully fund the seismic upgrade of the Abernathy Bridge and for the 205 improvements to increase capacity from Stafford Road to 205 in Oregon City. This will give us the opportunity to stand up against the toll because they're using that as the reason to implement this toll project. So I hope that you could support us to have a vote.
Thank you very much. Up next is Katie Jones and Barbara Andrus. Please come forward, state your name, and you each have 30 seconds. So the people standing on the wall, can you make room for the people walking up? The people in the hallway, I need you to scoot to the side so there's a hallway where people can walk. Please, thank you very much. You're up next.
Okay, thank you so much for allowing me to speak. I am a mom of 2, and I'm also a business owner.
Please state your name and
Katie Jones, sorry. Well, I think there's much more at stake here other than a disease with a 99% survival rate. Our children are at risk of not knowing what it's like to walk through the halls of their school and share a smile. They won't know what it's like to go grocery shopping and see faces, to learn how to read expressions, to not know what it's like to go into a restaurant without medical discrimination actively happening in front of them. Some children right now have parents who are being coerced and threatened to not have their job if they don't comply. This, ladies and gentlemen, is not free choice, and I fear that we will not have that at all in a few years in the direction we're heading because of how desensitized people are becoming to freedom of choice. I fear that much more than a disease so deadly, we have to be tested to know we have it and threatened and coerced to take the vaccine for it. I don't judge or threaten those who choose to wear a mask. I'm asking for the same respect. No more mask mandates, no more medical discrimination against those who are choosing to not take an injection. Let us heal and progress again with free choice.
Thank you.
My name is Barbara Andrus, and I'm from Wilsonville. And I'm actually here on behalf of my daughter, who is a frontline ER nurse who could not be here tonight because she's working. But she did send her comments in earlier to you this morning, so I won't reiterate them here. They basically pretty much parrot everything that's been already said. But I did want to let you know that she did receive a response to her email from Christina Fadenrecht, stating that quote, "The Clackamas County Public Health Authority is encouraging we follow current CDC and OHA guidelines and are asking people to wear masks indoors while in public places." In response to that, may I just state that the CDC is dictated to by the teachers' unions, which do not adhere to medical science. So I just want everyone to know that I concur with my daughter's beliefs in no masking, no vaccine. Thank you. Thank you.
Up next, Mark Johnson and Sarah Lambert. Come forward, state your name and area of residence. You each have 60 seconds. Go ahead, Mark.
Mark Johnson, Malala. Well, I think everybody's already, I second what Tootie said at the beginning. It was beautiful. I have been opposed to every scamdemic measure for the last 18 months. And let me read just this from Rand Paul, because I think this is where we're at. It's time to resist. They can't arrest all of us. They can't keep all your kids home from school. They can't keep every government building closed. We don't have to accept the mandates, lockdowns, and harmful policies of the petty tyrants and bureaucrats. We can simply say no, not again. You will not arrest or stop me or anyone from doing our jobs. We have either had COVID, had the vaccine, or been offered the vaccine. We will make our own health choices. Kate Brown. We will not show you a passport. We will not wear a mask. We will not be forced into random screenings and testings so that you can continue your drunk with power reign.
You're up next.
Hi, my name is Sarah Lambert, and I'm a resident of Oregon City.
Please go ahead, Sarah.
Thank you for having us here tonight so that we can voice our opinions. I actually really appreciate the invite. I'm here as a mom and a business owner in Clackamas County. As a mom, no more masks. We can't do this anymore. My daughter has a job. She's 17 years old. She's a senior this year, so she's basically missed out on half of her high school with the lockdowns and no school already. She goes to her job, and they state now that you can wear a mask if you haven't been vaccinated, or if you have been, you can take it off. So now there's basically segregation in her workplace. She's been there for 4 months, and she walked in as a patron, and you didn't have to wear a mask, and nobody even knew who she was. They couldn't recognize her, and she's been working side by side because nobody can see each other's faces. They can't form relationships. As a business owner, I own a long-term care facility for adults with developmental disabilities, and we got a letter from the OHA today mandating vaccines for my employers or my employees, and I will not mandate that for them.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Up next, Lisa O'Brien and Jesse Hernandez. Come forward, state your name, residence, and you have 60 seconds. Go ahead, Lisa.
Lisa O'Brien, Gladstone, Oregon. ODOT is not being transparent or honest about tolling I-205 at the Abernathy Bridge. Many Oregonians have no idea this underhanded effort is even happening. Tolling is simply going to divert traffic into our neighborhoods, causing bottlenecks on surrounding highways. Once they start tolling, they're going to toll everywhere in Oregon. Oregonians deserve the right to vote on such an important issue, not have it dictated by government. I would encourage everyone here to contact Peter DeFazio, asking him to fully fund the I-205 improvements. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jesse Hernandez. I'm here. I live in Oregon City. And to you guys, want to say I agree with everything you said in your opening statements. I know a lot of people here in Clackamas County do. I think it's time that we break away from Washington County and Multnomah County. Too long they've been pushing our community into this pretty much a tyranny. I'm a combat vet, and I've got 4 kids, including a toddler at home, so it's really hard for me to be patient and nice. But I've been trying, and I'm at my breaking point, and I know a lot of other people are too. And we're stand-up citizens, but please don't make us enemies of the state, because that's what it's coming to if this continues.
Up next, Kimberly Hutchinson and Dr. Rob McDowell. I hope I said that right. Please come forward, state your name, area of residence. The man's trying to get back through there. And Kimberly Hutchinson, is she in here? There she is. Let her through on the side.
Go ahead. You sat first.
Hi, Dr. Rob McDowell. First time here, I want to thank you for your opening statement. It meant a lot. The Pledge of Allegiance, you saw the reaction. Our biggest thing is we pulled God out of our schools, we pulled God out of everything. He is who I lean toward first, and my vaccine card was printed in 1776. I'm a dentist, I could talk forever, but I could go over virology, I could go over running my business, but our own health authority is contradicting themselves in the first paragraph of what they gave us on Monday. I will give it to you. I just want to go back to loving thy neighbor. You know, everybody here is here for a reason. We're the constituents, we vote you in. Support us continually, because that's where it starts. We start small and we go to the top. So please don't stop doing that for us, because we need it. Thank you.
I too want to thank you for your opening statements. They mean the world that you support us. I will cut down what I have to say. It's not government's job to tell us how to run our families and our lives. It is time that COVID-19 is not going away. We need to learn to live with COVID-19. And history will judge us on how we continue on from here. We must not let tyranny stand. Now is the time to summon the courage of our forefathers and stand up and fight for freedom. Say no to all mask mandates, lockdowns, forced vaccinations, and no to vaccine passports in Clackamas County.
Up next is Nancy Hall and Colin Mooney. Come forward, state your name and area of residence. You each have 60 seconds.
Here I'm going to pass tonight.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. No, Nancy. In her stead, Barbara Castor. Please come forward. Barbara Castor, there you are. Colin, go ahead, please.
Colin Mooney, Beaver Creek. Repeated studies have proven that masks have very little effect in stopping transmission of viruses, especially in children who rarely contract or transmit this disease. The science is clear. The effectiveness of these vaccines is highly questionable at best. People are going to stand up and fight against a tyrannical government which is eroding our freedom of speech and liberty. I don't need to be woke. I don't need or want my children to be exposed to critical race theory. It is a theory, and no one has the right to teach this to our children without our consent. I understand my rights and the rights of all Americans, and we will stand up and fight against the tyranny.
I'm Barbara Castor, Oregon City. I think we have a problem in Oregon and in our whole country, and that problem is we don't have informed consent. We have manufactured consent. There's a real problem with the press conferences from the Oregon Health Authority and from our governor. They present one side of information. It's not in context. It's designed to keep people in fear, and when you're in fear, you can't make good decisions. I could show you 40 studies prior to 2020 that prove that masks do not stop an airborne respiratory virus. They actually make it worse. When you cough, when you sneeze, when you yell, whatever, there's something called plosive force. It pushes your little droplets that Anthony Fauci talks about right through that mask. It aerosolizes them. So now you have a better chance of infecting someone else. We know these things. I've spent thousands of hours researching because that's how I handle a situation like this. I learn, I teach myself, I take care of my family. I am capable of that. I don't need someone else to tell me how to do that. We have rights that are God-given.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tootie.
Next is Mary Sophia, I think that's right, and Marissa Kishpaw. Marissa Kishpaw, I see somebody coming, and Mary Sophia, is she in the room? Oh, there you are.
Thank you, Tootie Smith. You're amazing and how you handled the whole Thanksgiving thing with Kate Brown. I was so proud of you.
Thank you. State your name and residence.
Mary Sophia, 25201 South New Kirchner, Molino. Go?
Go ahead.
I just want to say, we're not stupid. We know the science. Masks destroy your health. The fibers go deep in your lungs and cause long-term damage. I will fight this tooth and nail, and I will organize others. I'm asking to have people have respect to decide for themselves. This vax is going to kill millions of people. It's already happening. Big Pharma is a criminal cartel engaged in criminal racketeering and murder for profit. They're criminally colluding with the CDC, the NIH, and hospitals to make extra profit. It is pure evil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Marissa Kishpaw in Happy Valley, Oregon. I've been a clinical lab scientist for 20 years now. Regarding the unlawful mandates, in a free society, we have a choice. The introduction of vaccine mandates in America is a wake-up call to ask ourselves, are we free? Mandates are rolling in and will set a precedent for the rest of the nation to follow. At least 103 new bills in 30 states have been introduced to remove vaccine exemptions. Without exemptions, there is no informed consent. Without informed consent, there is no choice. Without choice, there are no rights. Without rights, there is no freedom. Today, America resembles a police state. If you disagree, ask yourself why the courts continue to reject appeals and constitutional challenges to vaccine mandates. Why are peaceful protests shut down if First Amendment protects free speech? Even if you are not forced yet, stand with those who have been placed in this horrible situation. Stand for freedom. Make your own decisions about your health.
Up next is Bruce Wilson. Janet Bailey, please come forward, state your name, residence, and you have 60 seconds. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Good evening. My name's Bruce Wilson. I live at 22409 Southwest Newland Road in Clackamas County. Even with all the shadow banning, it looks like all these people have been educated on the sciences of mask dangers, vaccine dangers. I'm a stay-at-home dad. My kids are in Westland Wilsonville School District. I pulled my kids out first because of critical race theory. At least they're telling me it's not critical race theory. It is critical race theory. Then I re-registered them because we were going to have to wear masks. Well, now we got to wear masks again. I'm pulling my kids out again. I don't want to be a homeschool teacher. I don't want to pay on top of my taxes for private school. I want to be able to trust my government, my leadership. I want to be able to trust my school district leadership, that my kids aren't going to be indoctrinated with critical race theory, critical theory, forced to wear a mask with these mask mandates. It's ridiculous. That's it.
Hi, thank you, Tootie.
State your name.
Janet Bailey, 20655 98th Avenue. Anxiety and trouble breathing are huge concerns to qualify for a child not wearing masks. In addition, the filth that accumulates on a child's mask is germ-infested and very dangerous and very unhealthy. COVID is spread by aerosol particles, which are small enough to go right through a mask. ORS 339.288 flat out prohibits anything that puts pressure on a child's mouth. Also, ORS 339.288 also prohibits the use of mechanical restraints on a child's mouth that make it hard for them to breathe. Governor Kate Brown's mask mandates is needless and very unhealthy for children. And we have a 99.99% recovery rate ratio. Parents are fed up with Kate Brown and her arrogant mandates.
Up next is Bernadette McKee and Jeff Orcutt. Come forward, state your name, area of residence, and you each have 60 seconds. Do I see Jeff Orcutt? Is he coming up? I'll set this card aside. I will call on Lisa Anderson. Are you in the room, Lisa Anderson? She's coming up. You go. Would you please go start?
Sure. My name is Bernadette McKee. I'm from Lake Oswego, Oregon. Board, I want to thank you for listening to all of us. Tootie, thank you for your amazing speech at the beginning. I am here on behalf of health freedom for all of us, but mainly our children. Our children have been traumatized severely over the last 18 months, and this needs to stop. A few days ago, Dr. Dean Seidlinger, who is our epidemiologist, our state Tony Fauci, came out and basically said masks don't work. And if he does not have the science to prove it, we don't need to be wearing it. And I'm asking our leaders from local to state to federal, please show us the science. I want to see the science that masks work, vaccines work. I am a health professional and I want personal responsibility of my own body. I know how to take care of it and I don't need any government official telling me how to do so. My body, my choice.
Go ahead.
Lisa Anderson, Beaver Creek. Our children need to come first. They've suffered enough. As parents, we know our children best, and we decide what their medical and social needs should and shouldn't be. Mandatory masking in schools is a major threat to a child's development. It ignores the essential needs of a growing child. The well-being of children and young people is highly dependent on the emotional connection with others. Masks create a threatening and unsafe environment where emotional connection becomes difficult. ORS 401.165 paragraph 5 states, each county has the authority to separate powers from emergency orders by the governor. We need to stand together as a community because our children are being treated like political prisoners. The government is destroying the potential of our children. We do not co-parent with the government. And I'll add tonight that these principles do not apply excuse me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If any of you have written testimony and you weren't able to deliver it all, you may submit it over here and be part of the record. I noticed that last person had more she wanted to say, so if there's anything you want to submit, please do that. Up next, Corey Streeter and Dana Hindeman Allen. Please come forward. State your name, area of residence, and you have 60 seconds.
Good evening. My name is Dana Hindeman Allen, and I'd like to first thank the board for having this exceptional meeting and hearing us out. I am against anything that violates free choice with your body, free choice with your mind. I am all for consent. So I wanted to say that I'm involved with a group called Restore Oregon, and we have been working on a resolution to have a resolution adopted by Clackamas County. We're hoping that you will take bold action. I'm just going to come right out and ask you. It will uphold the Constitution so the lower mandates and edicts will not be followed, that you're basically setting a light, being a beacon to the rest of the counties to follow. Douglas County has adopted that resolution that we've created. And I'm asking you boldly, would you please take further steps and adopt a resolution?
My name is Corey Streeter. I am from Lake Oswego, Oregon. I am here as a father, a husband, and a business owner. I have seen the mental health of my children, all my friends' children, deteriorate massively. I have seen businesses go under that will not come back. The capital's not there. They're bankrupt. I mean, Kate Brown has destroyed so many businesses. It is appalling to me as a business owner, knowing what it's like to work 7 days a week, never taking vacations. I mean, it is incredible the amount of damage that has been done. And I just, enough is enough. I mean, our kids are suffering, businesses are suffering, people are suffering. Please, we all are obviously asking you guys, please represent us well. That's all I have to say.
Up next is Kat and Terry Coleman. Please come forward, state your name and area of residence. You each have 60 seconds.
I'm just going to stand because I have a lot of nerves. But
That's
my name's
okay.
Kat.
Yes, make sure they just hear you in the microphone.
Yeah, my name's Kat, and I'm from Gresham, and I'm actually pretty new to Oregon. But I just want to quote to you guys your Oregon Constitution, Bill of Rights, Article 1. Section 1, natural rights inherent in people. We declare that all men, when they form a special compact, are equal in right. That all power inherent in the people and all free government are found on our authority, okay, and instituted for our peace, our safety, and our happiness. And they have at all times a right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such a manner as we see proper. So we're hoping that we just work together and not have to go to that, but you have it within your own Bill of Rights. You don't have to ask for permission.
My name is Terry Coleman, and I live at 5500 Aretha Court, Hubbard, Oregon. I've been a Clackamas County resident for 60 years plus, and I have to follow that. I mean, oh my goodness, she was fabulous. I am simply here tonight to say, as a business owner, as a mom, grandma, wife, the individuals here in Oregon have had enough. My business has suffered, my kids have suffered, my family. I go to medical appointments with my husband, and every last doctor that we go to, I look him in the eye and I say, you know those masks don't work, you're in the medical field. Every last one of them, from specialists to GPs, all of them look me right back in the eye and they say, we know. It is time for somebody to do something to get rid of these mask mandates. And if you think you're gonna vaccinate me or anybody in my family, you've got another thought coming.
Up next is Corinne Montgomery and Ivan Bilicic. Please correct the pronunciation of your name, Ivan.
My name is Corinne Montgomery, and I live in Oregon City. First, Commissioner Smith, thank you for fighting for us, and please do not stop. Oregon has become a joke of this country. Domestic terrorists are allowed to attack citizens and our police. Drugs and homelessness are taking over our communities. Our Second Amendment rights are being infringed on, and our governor has proven to be a power-hungry tyrant trying to take us into communism. She must have forgotten that she works for us. We, the people of Oregon, are pissed off and will not tolerate any more of our freedoms being taken away. I have not, nor will I ever wear a mask or will I be vaccinated. I will end with this, and I know I speak for everyone here. When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty.
Ivan, would you please pronounce your last name for me?
Hello, I am Ivan Biletsky,
Thank you.
and I am resident of Happy Valley. I moved from state of Florida 9 years ago. I am a father of 6, and yeah, for me it's painful to watch what's in Florida and what's in here. And well, I'm here to say is I'm a father of 6, and I'm against the mandates. I'm against the vaccination mandates, and we did pull our kids out of the schools because of this mandates. So I am here to tell that we the people, and we elect you guys to represent us. And we are hoping that you will represent us, and you still representing us. So we asking, we praying, and we are the people under one God and one nation.
Thank you. Up next is Lila Blakely and Anna Petrus.
Lila, I think I beat you, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk. My name is...
It's Lila.
Oh, Lila, okay.
Go ahead, state your
My name is Anna Petrus from Westland. I actually did not plan on coming or being here, but I came straight from the pool. I'm speaking on behalf of all the healthcare providers, the nurses, the caregivers out there. I am a caregiver for the last 19 years. We came from Romania in 1988 and straight to Oregon, and my parents owned an adult foster care home in 1995. And I've been taking care of elderly all of my life, and that's what I'm going to do dying. But guess what? You're not going to vaccinate me because we're not going to be mandated to take the vaccine. That is not okay. You guys have instilled in us that medical freedom, we have to respect every one of our residents. We have to respect every one of our elderly. If they want to eat 4 chocolate bars and their sugar level is at 400, they have the right to do so. Okay? If I am a cancer patient, I have the right to take chemotherapy or not. If I am in the midst of a pandemic and there is COVID amongst our home or anywhere else, we have the right to take the vaccine or not. Okay? We've taken care of these people for the last year and everything is fine. We do not need to be vaccinated.
I love you. I'm Leila Blakely from Sandy, Oregon. I want to thank the chair tonight for her choice, or the personal choice that she's given us for vaccines and masks, not using them, et cetera. I also want to thank Chair Kafori for making Multnomah mask up so that all the business can come to Clackamas County. Yes! But I have to skip through a lot of this, but I just wanted to let you know that since we're being ran and the mandates are from our tyrannical government, that the only way we can stop it is through our elections. And I don't know about you, but we were watching Mike Lindell for the symposium for the last 3 days. Our House legislature put through and signed by Governor Brown on June 11th, House Bill 2681. This bill states all Oregon County clerks no longer need to clean our voter rolls of people who have not voted for whatever reason. I've got the referendum 302 downstairs. Please sign it. Up next. Up next is Tiff Mumba and Todd Sabrolini. I think that's how you, please correct my pronunciation. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Tiff Mumaw. I'm from Oregon City, and I'd like to just talk about a couple of issues with the vaccine mandate. We've talked about politics and we've talked about law and religious freedom, but one of the things that I think is really important is that we talk about adverse events. Right now, the vaccine is being shown to cause a whole host of adverse events, and we don't even know the extent of those adverse events. Myocarditis we hear about a lot in the news, and pericarditis, and we're also seeing things like Bell's palsy, Guillain-Barré, issues with having issues with neurological function and a variety of other things. But the one that really gets to me is fertility. Scientists have been talking about this from the beginning of this vaccine and the potential for this vaccine to cause infertility. And I would be happy to submit more information, but I want grandbabies and...
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
My name is Todd Splugel. I live in Eagle Creek. I apologize in advance if I get a little choked up. But these shutdowns have nearly cost me my family. My wife almost died because of these shutdowns. Kate Brown and her shutdowns caused delays in surgeries. My wife had a delay in her needed heart surgery, normally a routine valve replacement. She was put on the back burner because her valve replacement surgery was initially considered to be, what did Kate Brown call it? A non-essential surgery. A routine non-essential surgery. There's another term for it, but I can't think of it at the moment. Elective, thank you very much. I consider Kate Brown to be partially responsible for what happened to my wife. Her surgeries were delayed. She got in on a cancellation. She was already in heart failure last year. There are some horrible mistakes made during her surgery, and my wife is now disabled.
Thank you very much, sir. It's really heartfelt. Thank you.
I am now being threatened by Kate Brown after 20 years in law enforcement, and it's because I refused to vaccinate. I received a letter 2 days ago. She's threatening my job. And that is wrong. She has destroyed my wife's career because she's disabled. Legacy Health Systems on July 1st fired her from her position. She is no longer a nurse as a result of what happened to her. And it all started with the shutdowns. She was a pediatric nurse at Legacy and ended her career, destroyed my family, and now she's coming for my job.
Thank you very much for coming today.
My
Up
life,
next, sir, thank you.
My life, my body, I will not comply with unlawful, unconstitutional, tyrannical mandates. It may cost me my career, but I will not back down.
I have 3 cards that I called previously, and I didn't see anybody in the room. I'm going to call them again. First was Chris Foster, Daniel Boatwright.
He needed to leave for a friend's emergency.
Okay, thank you. And Jeff Orcutt. Are those people in the room? Okay, we will now move to Shannon. Do we have anybody online who wishes to testify?
Yes, we do.
And
today.
how many of those?
We have 19 registered, although I suspect some of them might have dropped off. by now.
Okay, would you go ahead and call the first person and remind them state their name and address, and they have 60 seconds.
First up is David Katz. David, please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 60 seconds.
I'm Dr. David Katz. I trained at Yale in viral biology and epidemiology. I've been a medical researcher for 37 years and have advised OHSU faculty on COVID testing and therapy development efforts. A drunk driver is 7 times more likely than a sober driver to cause an accident, which could be deadly. We criminalize drunk driving because it's dangerous. An unvaccinated and unmasked audience member is 25 times more likely than one vaccinated and masked to infect others, which could be deadly. The analogy is imperfect. A drunk driver can harm several people, but the victims don't go on to harm others. Someone who infects neighbors during this meeting can start a continuing spread of virus that harms hundreds or more. Think about how many people have been harmed by whomever first passed along the Delta variant. Many speakers tonight see freedom or choice not to vaccinate or mask. What they request is license to take away the rights of other Oregonians like a drunk driver. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this is the deal, folks. You all had your opportunity to speak. The people will be removed if you continue to catcall just because you disagree. Now, isn't this what this is about? Okay, so can we please lower the temperature? I suspect there may be more callers online who may not agree with the majority of the people in the room. But like you, they have a right to voice their opinion. Shannon, who's up next?
Next up is Beth Carr. Beth, please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 60 seconds. Beth Carr, can you unmute yourself?
Is she there, Shannon?
She's not unmuting herself.
Okay, we'll come back. Who's up next?
Up next is Patty Jarrett. Patty, please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 60 seconds.
I'm Patty Jarrett, and I live, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, and I live in Oregon City. And just very quick, Tootie, I would like to endorse what you said in your opening statement. And I feel that the vaccine passport is a major step on the way to a social control system if the government and the World Economic Forum prevail. If a social credit system like that in China is established, we will lose complete control of all of our lives. I have just a few questions. What is the need for everyone from babies on up to be vaccinated? Why is the CDC resisting the distribution of low-cost medications that are stopping COVID, such as ivermectin? Why isn't the CDC advertising supplements that help stop viral infections? Why does the CDC insist that natural immunity is less than whatever occurs when one is vaxxed? Please do not implement please stop a vaccine mandate in this county. Thank you.
Up next?
Up next is Jennifer Duncan. Jennifer, please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 60 seconds.
My name is Jennifer Duncan, Lake Oswego, retired special education teacher. This commission, unfortunately, is getting a very skewed view of how most Oregonians feel about the mask mandate and vaccines. Many are there at the invitation of the chairwoman for her personal agenda. I support masking. Medical personnel wear masks for a reason when they treat us. If we want our kids to be safe and healthy and back in school, as we all profess to want, masking is needed for all indoor spaces to bring down the spread of COVID. Otherwise, kids will share the virus and quarantines will follow, and we'll be back where we were last March with kids home from school. The freedom you crave comes from masking and vaccinating, not by being hooked up to a respirator with COVID. Thank you.
If you have a private conversation, can you please take it way out in the hall or leave because we can't hear the callers. Up. Okay. We have a person in the room who registered online and got mixed up thinking she was going to register here. So we take people in the room first. Gina Tillanino?
Pretty close.
Okay.
Thank you.
Correct pronunciation.
Okay, my name is Gina Tellerino. I'm from Happy Valley. I would first like to tell Commissioner Scholl that he is an American hero. Everyone should get to know him. He is a shining example of leadership. He's brave and strong, and he's a constitutional man. He's been fighting for our medical freedom rights for a long time, and he was called a racist, and his resolution was shot down by people on this commission. My remaining communication will be directed toward the rest of you. Are you for us or against us? You're going to have to answer with your actions. Words no longer will suffice. We've shown you the laws in Oregon and the Constitution. All of this has been recorded. There are no more excuses. You know the NIH, the CDC, the WHO, the US government are all hurting us, causing irreparable harm. These mandates work against us and take away our God-given rights. You're going to have another challenge coming up. We're going to ask for a full forensic audit, which is going to be a major problem for some of you. We are seeing more evidence each day that our elections are rife with malfeasance. We demand a full forensic audit, and we will not let up till we get one. Our sacred right to vote should not be, you're welcome, should not be diluted or stolen. We deserve the truth, and we will be relentless till we get it. You swore an oath. We will hold you to your oath till you uphold it. Thank you.
Go ahead. Shannon, go ahead with the next caller online, and we will go back to the blue cards. Thank you.
Jim Braun, you are up next. Please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 60 seconds. Jim Braun?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, I'm Jim Braun. I just wanted to say one thing. I live down here in Albany, but I raised my kids in Gladstone and deployed with Mark Scholl, and he is one honorable human being. You are lucky to have him on your board, and I'll tell you, because I served with him and I rode with him in a Humvee, I know him better than anybody else, and he's one of the most honorable men I know in my life. But one thing I did want to add, there was a woman who asked if there were migrants coming here. There are migrants coming here on buses, and they're landing in Woodburn on Saturday. I seen them get off the bus, and they're spreading that disease all over the state.
Is he finished? Okay. Oh, we have two more blue cards. Magdalena McDowell, come forward, and Jonathan Vesey, please come forward. State your name and residence, and you each have 60 seconds.
Am I first?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, my name is Magdalena McDowell, and I'm from Gladstone, Oregon. I have 4 kids and one more on the way. One is in kindergarten, one's preschool, and one is 5th grade. I don't know how you expect to teach my preschooler and 1st grader going into next year how to read, how to express themselves, how to feel safe. The school environment that they're entering is absolutely unacceptable, and it's been unacceptable. And I have been their school environment, and this will be the first exposure that they've ever gotten. I wrote a bunch of things which you have. Today I gave it to you, but I'm just going to tell you this. Are you sure? Because we live in a digital age, and everything that you guys do is going to be recorded. And I don't know how my grandparents dealt with polio, but your grandkids will see what you did today. They will know exactly where you stand.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm from Westland, Oregon. I'm a first-generation American. My parents escaped communist Romania to come here. They've raised me to be a proud American and to stand up for that flag right over there. They also raised me to see what communism looks like, but I always told myself that would never happen. But because I've been taught, I see it here. Data and science is not synonymous with proven fact. And if this virus is so deadly, why are we throwing our masks in the garbage and not in biohazard bins? I've been in the adult care industry my entire life. 15 years I've been paid, and in 4 months I might be out of a job. And I have a 2-year-old that might not even get to be in this education system. We need to stand up And I promise I'm going to do that.
Shannon, go ahead with the next person online, please.
Next up is Bill Weir. Bill, please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 60 seconds. Mr. Weir? Okay.
We'll come back.
Come back.
Yes. Who's up next, Shannon?
Connie Lee, you're up next. Please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 60 seconds.
Connie Lee, Lake Oswego. I and many other Clackamas residents are worried about the COVID Delta variant because it spreads 2 to 3 times faster than the original virus. For those of us that have been vaccinated, we wear a mask to avoid the chance of being infected. But more importantly, we wear masks to protect unvaccinated people. That is why I'm so grateful to our commissioners who are wearing masks today. They care about protecting other people in an indoor public space. I'm also grateful for the leadership of Public Health Director Philip Mason Joyner, and I wish his weekly reports were reinstated. Thank you for...
The vaccinated are getting sick. That's brainwashed.
Okay, please stop. Please stop. Well, I have 2 more cards. I have 2 more cards from people in the room. Eric Post and Alyssa Kennedy. Please come forward, state your name and residence, and you have 60 seconds. Sir, go ahead.
Hi, Eric Post, Clackamas County. I come here with a lot of humility because we're in unprecedented times, and in unprecedented times, we don't know exactly what to do. And I respect your position, and I come here with gratitude for your service, but I also would like to say, as has been stated before, the power is not on this table, the power is with the people. And as a father and as a veteran, the one thing that is undeniable is that this is the land of the free. And in the land of the free, there comes a lot of responsibilities, and the people in this room are willing to accept those responsibilities. And those responsibilities do not just come from self-accountability, they also come with the contribution to the collective. And we can't mandate goodwill, you can't mandate common sense, you all know this as lawmakers. But we do have a room full and a state full of people that are willing to do the right thing, not being told what's right for them and their family, but because it is the right thing to do. And I definitely, please consider as you legislate to make sure that granting freedoms only when convenient is very disingenuous. Freedom comes with a heavy cost. A lot of these people in this room have paid that price, and you guys do serve, and we do appreciate that. But we don't need to be told what freedom should be ours and what freedoms really mean. We know what freedom means, and I do appreciate you listening to all this very much, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Alyssa Kennedy. I have 6 beautiful children. 3 of them are mine biologically, and 3 of them were granted by the great state of Oregon to come out of the foster care system. That state trusts me to raise them well, and to raise them in a manner that is healthy. We homeschool, but we also are enrolled through the Oregon City Public Schools. That gives us the choice to choose our curriculum. It also gives us the choice to determine what goes into our children's minds and builds their foundations so that they become contributing members of society. Because 3 of my children were adopted out of the foster care system, they were exposed prenatally to drugs and alcohol. My youngest child is 6. She chews on her mask. She puts everything into her mouth. To ask her to go to school, whether it is a few classes or all the classes, means that she's going to be putting everything into her mouth. This is not safe or sanitary. The masking mandates and the vaccine mandates do not take into consideration those who cannot speak for themselves, those who are differently abled.
Thank you very much. I have 3 more cards. Lisa Abbott and Bob Mager, please come forward. Go ahead, Lisa.
Hi, my name is Lisa Abbott, and I live in Lake Oswego. Tootie, thank you very much for your service. Also to you, Mr. Shull. I'm here today. I have 3 children, 2 going off to college, 1 leaving in 36 hours, and I chose to be here. I feel very honored to be able to speak today. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. As you know, our God-given rights are being taken away at a pace which is happening at a mind-boggling pace. I do a lot of research. I listen to a lot of scientists. I don't listen to CNN, CNBC, or MSNBC. Whether you are vaccinated, unvaccinated, brown, white, Republican, independent, or Democratic, it doesn't matter. The powers that be in this establishment are pitting us against each other, and they're doing this to create chaos, fear, and problems. And of course, they have the solutions. And we have done everything that they've asked us to do. But guess what? It's not working. They've been lying to us. They're controlling us, and now they're trying to monetize us, and the truth is being censored. The headlines today indicate that vaccines are now going to be mandated for San Francisco, New York, any indoor event, and then it's going to become a digital passport.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Rob Mager, Damascus, Oregon. Grew up in Sandy, Oregon. My dad started the Rhinelander. I've watched the business that we own go to hell due to the mandates from the governor. I'm a research fanatic. I don't sleep a lot. I have that going for me. And so I've been watching everything that's going on, and I'm a fact-check fanatic. I don't sleep a lot, like I said. And all I know is that I've seen our freedoms erode one at a time. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. I never seen a prejudiced guy in there. I'm told that our government, by our government, that our armed forces is racist. I remember going to high school or grade school, walking past George Washington, who got tore down on 57th. Walking past him as a kid to school, we all did. I grew up in Sandy where we said the Pledge of Allegiance after that. We felt good. It didn't matter what color you were, what race you were. It mattered whether or not you could play softball or baseball or just have fun. All of this race baiting, critical race theory, mass, and unrealistic and lies should stop.
Okay, next up. Jennifer Edwards and Denise Danian.
You're a nurse?
Go ahead.
Hello, thank you so much for having us here. My name is Jennifer Edwards. I'm a 5th-generation Oregonian. I grew up in Clackamas. I live in Maleno, and I have an acupuncture practice in Portland, Oregon. I know 5 people who have died from the vaccine. I know of maybe 1 person who passed from COVID, and that's questionable because that was my grandmother. And it was her DNR that prevented her from getting an intravenous IV solution of fluids, which she died 48 hours later. So it's very possible she died of dehydration. All of my patients who have had COVID have recovered without needing hospitalization because they follow protocols that I've recommended to boost their immune system. In everything that's happened, no one is talking about how to promote our health through boosting our immune system and healthy protocols. We're talking about vaccines who alter our DNA through nanoparticles that are subatomic and pass the nuclear envelope of our cells and interact with our genetics that cause unknown genetic mutations or genetic expressions. We're talking about mRNA that is causing microclotting factors in our extended capillary beds. And the strokes are increasing as we speak right now. The science doesn't support what is being mandated. The virus is 0.0125 microns. And the mask can only filter 0.3 microns.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're up
Hi.
next.
It's actually Denise Torge, and I'm from Milwaukee. My friend Anna wrote Damien because that was my maiden name. Anyways, I'm here today standing before you thanking you so much for allowing us to actually come in. My dad, I don't know if anybody in this room or watching, was taken to the hospital because he had COVID. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but everybody in this room in this United States of America is being lied to. I'm a registered nurse. I watched Portland, Providence kill my dad. They intubated him because they poked his lungs with a metal tube 5 times. He was awake, he was alert. 16 hours later, he went on a ventilator. He fought for his life for 49 days. My family and I watched him die. I'm a registered nurse. They didn't listen to us. I agree. I bet you that majority of people who have died from COVID was because of malpractice. My family is about to sue Providence. We're going to get a malpractice lawyer, and they're afraid of us. They let 15 of us into the ICU room because they knew they messed up. This is a hoax. This is a pandemic, and he should have never died.
Up next is Brett Duax and Jennifer Dale. Please come forward, state your name and your area of residence. You have 60 seconds. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Brett Duax, Happy Valley. Hey, before I begin, I just want everybody to look at this crowd here today. I want to applaud everybody that came here today. A lot of patriots in Clackamas County, and they have something to tell you, each and every one of them. I'm here today because I spoke to this council 2 weeks ago. We presented a resolution to your desk, much like Douglas County and Marion County have just signed. You've had 2 weeks to look at this now. The question we have, everybody, when are you going to sign it? Right. Let us be free. Help us out. We're pleading with you right now. We need to stop this tyranny from the governor. And you can do this by helping us out in signing that resolution today. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hi, thank you for hosting us this evening and welcoming all of us. My name's Jennifer Dale. I'm a mom of 3 kids in Lake Oswego here in Oregon. And a year ago, I became an activist to get kids back into school and reopen schools with a page called Clack to School on Facebook. We grew with 4,000 members almost overnight, and we hosted rallies to reopen schools because we knew it could be done safely, and the science supported that. I have a daughter who's 9 years old with Down syndrome, and today I sat in a meeting about what this is going to look like going back to school with a mask on. I'm requesting that she goes back to school with an accommodation because her features don't hold up a mask very well. However, this accommodation could lead to her being quarantined. And that's why I'm really talking to you about this tonight, because it's our local public health that puts together those quarantining rules. And you're talking about a 14-day quarantine for kids that are exposed in school. I would really urge you to reconsider this quarantine, because kids like my daughter who are looking for an ADA accommodation
Thank you
could
very much.
unfortunately lose out on school.
Thank you. Up next, Krista Shipman. Please come forward, state your name and area of residence, and you have 60 seconds.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Krista Shipman, and I come from Aurora, which is in North Clackamas County, North Marion County, but close to Clackamas County. I currently work as a counselor and lifeguard at Canyon View Horse Camp in Silverton. Yesterday, I held a 12-year-old girl weeping in my arms as she told me that her father, who does not wish to take the vaccine for personal reasons, will soon lose his dream job as a state trooper, and her family then plans to move out of state. This is not right. This is not the Oregon I used to know. This is not the Oregon I grew up in. I only come to humbly present the same question that many of these citizens have already asked you. Why are Oregon citizens being forced to make a personal medical decision? Thank you.
Shannon, do we have any more people on the Zoom wanting to testify?
Yes, we do.
Go ahead.
Michael Weber, you are up next. Please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 60 seconds.
Thank you. Michael Weber, Jennings Lodge. 14% of Clackamas County is under the age of 12 and cannot get vaccinated. Of the remaining 86%, over 2/3 have gotten the shot, which is almost 60%. Several surveys show that over half of the remaining 26% are willing to get category. The vocal anti-vax, anti-mask fringe that we have heard repeat misinformation today represent less than 13% of our community. Yet these irresponsible citizens provide the vector by which the Delta variant of COVID-19 is expanding and threatening us all. They are the reasons that our hospitals are overflowing, and they are the reason we have returned to a statewide mask mandate. Chair Smith, your willful disregard of the state's health officials puts us all in peril. We live in the state of Oregon, not the state of denial. We must use every means we have at our disposal to win this war, encouraging vaccinations, the wearing of masks, social distancing, and proper hygiene. Only by fighting together can we beat back this unseen.
Up next. Shannon, what's up next? Please be quiet, regardless if you agree or not. Please be quiet, or I can end the meeting right now. And I'm very serious because I have done it before. This is the last warning. Shannon, who's up next?
Chris Waller, you're up next. Please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 60 seconds.
Chris Waller, Jennings Lodge. Chair Smith stated Tuesday in regards to COVID, I can guarantee you our public is weary of this. Our public across all spectrums wants us to move on. I am part of your public, Chair Smith, and I most assuredly do not want to move on. This week, Oregon set new records for daily coronavirus cases, hospitalizations, and the number of people needing intensive care. Chair Smith, you also stated not every week is a COVID crisis. This week is a COVID crisis. Every week that people die unnecessary deaths from COVID is a crisis. This meeting is a crisis. You promised we would have Clackamas County Public Health present to rebut misinformation. There was a flood of it tonight. Where are they? I want to be assured that none of you believe that COVID vaccines cause COVID, or that hospitals and their staff are not overwhelmed, or attend anti-mask and anti-child vaccine meetings. But some of you are, and as long as you are, you continue and deepen the crisis. Thank you.
Up next, Shannon.
Beth Carr, you are up next. Please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 60 seconds.
That was the same lady that was on before, right? Yeah, and she couldn't.
She couldn't unmute, and she was not able to unmute this time. Do you want the next one?
Is it Bev or Beth?
Beth?
Beth, submit your testimony by email if you can, please, and maybe you can try next week. Go ahead, the next person, Shannon.
Christine Kennedy, you are up next. Please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 60 seconds.
Good evening. My name is Christine Kennedy. I live in Lake Oswego. I'm a registered nurse. I actually retired registered nurse after 45 years. I just have to say, COVID-19 is a real illness. It's very serious. And it seems to me that that's sort of the number one argument that I'm hearing is that it's really not very serious at all. This most recent surge has created renewed concerns. And I agree, history will judge us. We know what we need to do. We know the science behind the vaccine. There's been a tremendous amount of misinformation spread here again tonight. We know that currently the vaccines are free, they're effective, and they're available. We have very well qualified public health care experts on our staff at Clackamas County.
Thank you very much. Up next.
That is the end of my list, Chair.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take this opportunity. That's all the testimony we will listen to tonight. It's all the cards I have for it. It's all the people who have called in. For any commissioner to make any comment that they wish. But before that, I want to wish my very dear colleague, Martha Schrader, happy birthday today. And you're welcome, and you've been a stalwart, and you've been very steady, and I appreciate that much. Any commissioner would like to say anything at this time?
Chair, I would like to.
Yeah, Commissioner Scholl.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have been moved tonight by the patriotism I've heard in this room. Tonight is an example of the First Amendment, freedom of speech. And I want to congratulate each and every one of you who came here. And for every citizen who's here in this room tonight, there are 1,000 more out there that are thinking the same thing you are. So thank you for taking your time coming here tonight.
Commissioner Schrader.
Well, thank you, Chair Smith, and thank you all for coming tonight. I knew I had to be here tonight because, frankly, I was going to hear viewpoints that are different than mine. And I think you see here tonight that, well, first of all, it's my birthday, so you can't be mean to me tonight, okay? Let's just be honest. Okay, just saying. And I'm now officially a cranky old lady, actually. And I have utmost respect for Commissioner Savas, Chair Smith, and Commissioner Scholl. I've done a lot of work with veterans, and he's aware of it, and he's aware of it, and you're all aware of it. But I do have to tell you, I want to give you a different take on a lot of this tonight, what I've heard, and it's just my take on it. I have chosen to wear a mask, and I'm using the word chosen. It wasn't because somebody mandated it to me. I have chosen to be vaccinated. And I understand that people are upset because nobody likes to be told what to do, because we feel it's an impingement on our liberties. But let me just say something else. It's okay, just let me say it, because my colleagues up here respect me, and they know that I support them and I don't throw them under the bus, okay? There's a different piece to who we are as citizens and as residents of this county, because frankly, with freedom and liberty also comes community responsibility to one another. So I wear a mask, and I got vaccinated because I believe that's helping us, you, not get infected with this terrible virus. I would strongly suggest that you take a look at our website, our medical website. I would strongly suggest that you look at the CDC website. Look at... Stop. Hey, guys, it's okay. It's a difference of opinion, and it's my birthday, so you cannot be mean to me, okay? I'm too old. I'm too old to be yelled at, okay? But I just had to say that I do have a difference of opinion because, yes, I believe in freedom and liberty, but I do think this is an extremely dangerous virus. I'm not so worried about getting it myself. I'm worried about giving it to you, which is one of the reasons I'm wearing a mask, okay? It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I'm expecting me not to be real popular tonight, but my colleagues still love me, so that's a good thing. But I would urge you, really. I do think the CDC, I'm just going to tell you my opinion. I do think the CDC information is correct. I do believe that this virus, the new Delta variant, is extremely dangerous. And when people don't get vaccinated, or even vaccinated, I could transmit it to you. That's one of the reasons why I wear the mask. Because the bottom line is, if you don't get vaccinated, we're all going to become reservoirs for new variants because the virus mutates. So I'm just, no, let me finish. Come on now, everybody. So I do respect all of you for coming. Thank you for coming. I would suggest other avenues for information, okay, if that's what you choose to do. And me too, I live it too. I have.
Please, you spoke already. Now we are going to speak, and I mean that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Martha.
Oh, thank you, Judy. I appreciate that.
I'm going to take this opportunity to address an issue that I have addressed many times before. We have County Council sitting here, Scott Sako. I want you to explain to the group what the force and effect of an adopted resolution has. Now, this board has adopted resolutions in the past, and they have been used in an emergency declaration to be submitted to the state. Would you explain those resolutions, the difference between that, and quite possibly what these folks are asking us to do?
Yeah, sure, I can try, Chair. Thank you. The best way that I can explain it is that state law prevails. And in this case, the state law, the governor, the various agencies of the state government do have authority to make public health law. The local government, the county in this case, has the authority to also pass local health law. However, that local health law cannot supersede state law. In other words, generally speaking, the county can make additional steps and add additional restrictions or take things that are not in conflict with state law. So that would be my interpretation, my advice to this board as far as how the county law works in conjunction with state law.
What about a sanctuary county status that many people have put forward to this board? That term wasn't mentioned tonight, but I think maybe some of you are thinking about that. Can you explain what that would do?
If you're referring to a sanctuary county wherein Clackamas County would not require masks or would attempt to do something that's contrary to state law, again, the state law would prevail in that situation, would be my opinion. And if we try to do something contrary, again, we would still be subject, or businesses, people who would be in violation of this health law would potentially be subject to citation and civil penalty from the state. And I believe the governor's new order came out today. I believe the penalty is $500 per day per violation would be the civil penalty. The county has other issues because we have contracts with the state that we could potentially run afoul of. We also receive funding of the state, which could be an issue if we did not comply with the state law.
So, Scott, who's going to enforce the $500 a day fine?
Well, that's a good question, and that's really kind of the crux of all of this. And the reality is it's not going to be the sheriff's office because, as you pointed out earlier, they're primarily focused on enforcing criminal laws. There are some county agencies that enforce some of the state law, public health being one of them, which would are tasked with ensuring that restaurants and things of that nature are in compliance. Otherwise, it's state agencies and it's various agencies, depending on whether the state enforces it directly or whether they've delegated authority to other local agencies.
And there you have it. When the Oregon legislature gave our governor sweeping executive powers, it took away local control. And it was not done once, twice, 3 times. There were probably 10 different votes in the legislature that gave our governor the power that you described here tonight. And if you want that power to go away, then I suggest that we replace and re-elect legislators. I took an oath of office to obey the law. I take that seriously, but I also take seriously, as you know, listening to the people on all the different opinions. Since I was sworn in on January 4th this year, I have been subject to call after call, vitriol after vitriol, hate after hate, because that is their right. That is their First Amendment rights. But I have cut some people off when it got so nasty that I wouldn't bear it. The only thing that I can say to you tonight is, yes, I have read the declaration that was presented a couple weeks ago, and I found it to be very good. I would encourage my commissioners to do the same and reconsider. With that in mind, thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.